And the head of the shipping company in Korea, Koo Hak-rim, aboard that aircraft. A control agent for Carrefour, French-Tunisian Hatem Zreli was there, along with his wife, Audrey, and one of the 5 children, the daughter, the son, one 3, one just 1 year old. The son was Jassim Zreli, just 1 year old. Sana, the daughter, 3 years old. Company director of Karsten Moholt himself was aboard. Shock and trauma therapist Christian Zuthen was aboard. The Canadian was a 49-year-old father of 2 adult sons. His brother Blair Clemens confirmed to reporters that it was indeed him. He was originally from Guelph, Ontario, had been living actually with his wife in Belgium and working for the past 14 years as an executive for Coca-Cola. But the fight continues, the battle continues. Between the French government, Air France, on one side, and the Brazilians on the other side, who want desperately to sell anything. If they've got iron ore, which they have, they want to sell it to the Chinese. So they wanted to do business. And there was someone that wanted to stop them from doing business. And if you look at the way that the French government and Air France is handling this entire affair on finding the aircraft, you can see why they would be hesitant to want to find it quickly, bring it up and get to the bottom of how it got to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Brazil. It's just absolutely mind-blowing how these two have bickered all week. Here's the timeline for the Air France Flight 447. So look at the events surrounding the disappearance of that aircraft from Rio to Paris, according to Air France and the Brazilian Air Force. All times are in Brazilian local time, by the way. It's 7:03, Sunday, May 31st. The backward 13. Air France says the plane left Rio de Janeiro. Brazilian Air Force says the plane left at 7:30. So they started right away with even the departure time in disagreement. 10:30 p.m., May 31st. Air France says the plane had lost had lost contact with Brazil Aircraft Control. Brazilian Air Force says the last radio contact was 10:33 p.m., not 10:30. 351 miles northeastern of the Brazilian city of Natal was the last contact with Brazil Air Traffic Control. 10:48 p.m., May 31st, that fateful evening. Brazilian Air Force says the last radar contact with Brazil indicated the plane was flying normally at 10:48 p.m. At 11 o'clock, sharp, May 31st, Air France says the plane entered a zone of storms and high turbulence. 11:14 p.m., Air France receives automatic messages indicating electrical circuit malfunction. They say at this point there's only 2 of them. There were actually 24 in succession. 11:20 p.m., Brazilian Air Force says the plane fails to make previously scheduled radio contact with Brazil. Brazil notifies air traffic control in Dakar, Senegal. That's 11:20 p.m. 2 to 3 a.m., June 1st, the Monday, Air France says French military radar begins searching for the plane. 2:30 a.m., Brazilian Air Force says it mounts a search and rescue mission with 2 planes. At 4:30 in the morning, Air France says it's set up a crisis center. 6:15 in the morning of that Monday, the following Monday, the plane's scheduled arrival in Paris, according to Air France. 8:30 that morning, Monday morning, the night after the crash, Brazilian Air Force says it was told by Air France about the message the plane sent to the company. Message indicated technical problems, including the loss of pressure and electrical system failure. The Brazilian Air Force says, remember, Air France says 11:14 p.m. for the electrical system failure. They receive automatic messages, too, they say, indicating electrical circuit malfunction. Again, the Brazilian Air Force says they were told by the French at 8:30 in the morning, June 1st, the next day, that they had received a message from Flight 447. So the French receive a message from the aircraft at 11:14, the last time they ever hear from it, indicating electrical circuit malfunction. The Brazilian Air Force says they were told by the French at 8:30 in the morning about those messages. That is a difference of 9 hours and 16 minutes later. The Brazilians have been searching with their aircraft for the bird and have not yet been told by Air France that at 11:20 the night before, 9 hours and 16 minutes before, they were never told. Why did the French leave it so long to tell the Brazilian Air Force they've had messages from the aircraft? It makes no sense, unless, of course, it's what I suspect all along. The French want to keep the Brazilians in the dark for as long as they can to kill time. I believe they wait long enough. The plane never comes up. But now that the Brazilian Air Force has found 2 bodies and a leather case, and it seems almost as if it was planted almost to flush the French out, that they have a ticket in a briefcase, so it has to be from that aircraft. So far, no response from the French government. So far, no response from Air France about the 2 bodies, the leather briefcase containing the ticket with the number, the ticket number, corresponding to one of the passengers. So it is a real ticket. It's going to be very interesting on how things play out in the next, say, 24 to 48 hours. And if they get a search team there with a diving contingent that can go down there and comb the bottom of that shallow ocean, fairly shallow, about 15,000 feet is all, it seems to me that it's going to come to a head fairly soon. And the French, having Alain Bouillard, their mastermind of the Concorde crash, heading their team here, is going to make it very, very, very interesting.